forward to some great insights from you. So without wasting any more time, let's dig into the business side of it. So how's it been since you have taken business at the helm? So how's it been then? What's the industry looking like? What's the pulse that you're getting?
I think the business or the business environment has changed a lot over the 5 or so years that I've been in charge of Threads. So what we had to be was to be change agents of note. Because if you just stick to, it's that old adage in life, if you keep doing the same thing, you can't expect a different result. So fortunately we have been adapting to whatever the market change has been. But the biggest change was we had to change the business. Because the business model that we have was firstly not sustainable and it was old-fashioned. So what we did was we started at the roots, looked at the retail concept, changed that. A lot of effort was spent on the product and then the quality, and 4 or 5 years flew by to where we are today.
Amazing. So this change, how has it reflected on the customer side of it?
I think because of the heritage of most of the schools were British, a lot of the styling and the fabrics that they were using were European fabrics. So it was pretty much the heavyweight Oxfords and tweeds and twills and that. I mean, and as you know, it's 45 degrees in the shade here. That type of fabric didn't really adhere itself to schoolwear. So we spent a lot of time and we still do now, change agents to new fabrics, lighter weight fabrics that is more conducive to schoolwear. And we also spend a lot of time in the health factor of it. That our PE kit, for instance, the moisture management, UV protection, odor management, so that it's also a more healthier fabric to wear for the kids, because they spend a lot of time in those clothes and activities, you know, over and above the heat, you know, to make sure that the fabrics and the clothing and the styling is conducive to the region that we trade in.
So basically for your brand, your customers are actually two-pronged. It's first the kids and then obviously the parents who are the decision makers. So you have to be extra careful. So the strategy when it comes to marketing, how do you, tap into this customer base?
You know, we took a step back, and what we did was I had a lot of, I don't want to call it customer forums, but interaction with the various sectors that we trade with. And we involved parents in that, and children for that matter, because the parent is the decision maker, but at the end of the day, the child is wearing the clothes. So, you know, if I say to you, wear a skirt, and you're not really a skirt person, that's not really going to cut it. So we took heed of both of the influencing factors that came out of those forums, and we applied it to the fabrics, to the styling where we are now. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of negativity around it because not everyone likes change, number one. And because some of the schools had old heritage, they like to, you know, back in the day, you know how our parents used to say when we were young, it was that type of a philosophy and concept and just thinking process that we had to change. The funny thing is, the minute we got some of the product into some of the schools, it's like anything in life, you know, why you look like that and I look like this, I'm cool, you're not. So yes, once it was in, the small, you know, sectors that we covered first opened the doors to the others.
Correct. And you mentioned about sustainability. So in the back end, how much of sustainable efforts have you built into the system so that the result is fabulous and you reduce the carbon footprint also of the company?
We made a assertive effort to make sure that the fabrics that we use are, if we use non-synthetic fabrics, that it is virgin, in the sense that it is biodegradable. Our factories, we've made sure that we now use, and you can probably quote me on it, 85% less water for the dyeing factors. Our dyes are non-toxic. The fabrics that we use, everybody's got a little bit of a fixation that cotton is very good, and it's not so much good for the schoolwear because it contains the moisture and all that. So with the moisture management, we've made sure that our production method, the way we dye, the dye stuff we use, the chemicals that are in there are biodegradable. Our packaging, everything, we've gone green, if I can use a pun on that sense, to make sure that we're there. It's difficult to say we're 100% there, but where we've been to where we are now has been leaps and bounds. And I think the world has woken up to the fact that it is a discipline that you have to start applying to your product. And everybody's woken up to it. And I think I would cautiously say that I think we're leaders from a schoolwear perspective on that. But it is one of those dynamics that will never end. It is always changeable, and when new methods and new dye stuffs and new fabrics come on the market, we make sure that we start introducing them.
Of course, of course. So you're setting the trend here, but making a change, as you also mentioned, is not easy, and there is a lot of cost also involved in the production. So does that get added to the last price tag that you quote to the customer, or you keep it absolutely affordable and easygoing so that there's no friction there?
Clever question. Yes, it does come with cost. There is no free lunch in the world. So yes, you want to have all those fabrics. Yes, you want to be sustainable and have all those wonderful things. But the cost is inhibitive. So we don't pass that on to the customer. We absorb it. I mean, fortunately, we've been blessed that we've grown pretty well. So I don't know how long one can do it, but we sort of take it into the economies of scale. And the more important I become to my suppliers, the more they will support us in that route. But yes, there is a cost, but we try not to pass on anything to the customer, because at the end of the day, we all know how the economy of the world is right now. It's the easiest thing in the world is to just slap it on the price, but we've taken a different view on that.
Perfect. So as a leader, if you had to look into your company internally, and you mentioned so many times about change, so how do you inspire them? What are the things that you tell them on a daily basis probably to do good and bring about that bigger change?
We have a culture that welcomes innovation. We welcome people to try new things. I remember when I joined the company, the first thing I said to the people I took over was, go out and make a mistake. And they all looked at me like I've lost my marbles. The thing about trying is you have to fail to succeed. And I'm not saying go be stupid and do horrific things, but the rule of thumb is make mistakes, but don't make the same mistake twice. We learn from our mistakes. Where we are today, there was a lot of negativity that it won't work, the retail concept won't work. We've proven the naysayers wrong. We don't let negativity become our reality. We've moved away from that. And I'm fortunate that the team I took over is still working today. They believe in our vision, they believe in our culture. So it's a matter of having freedom within a democracy type of situation. People are not scared to try something, and we are a flat structure. The best ideas have come from the lowest ebb of the scale, and we're scholars of that, excuse the pun.
Amazing, amazing. So what next? How's the year spanning out, and what's up in the new year? What's the big plan?
It's the old cliche, as they say, the only constant is change. And I mean, for us, that drives us is what is next? What can we do better? It's one thing to say, I was once told by a very wise guy that was my manager, is that your halo is this far from your neck. So be careful. Complacency is a very dangerous aspect in business or in management for that matter. So we keep reinventing ourselves. Our retail concept has changed, although it is very successful. Because as changes go, we reinvent it, because we don't want to be a dinosaur one day and people talk about us. We want them to talk about us for the right reasons. So yeah, it's about keeping your eye on the ball and making sure that you stay in step with whatever change is out there.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.